Hello there, AT&T employees. Welcome. Thank you so much for watching with us. I'm Sam. I'll be moderating this presentation. As you watch the webinar today, you're going to see some links popping up above our heads. Those will be from me. Click directly on those links. They're going to guide you over to our website. Book an appointment with one of our AT&T focused advisors. You can also take advantage of many blogs we have available for AT&T employees and retirees. You can also follow us over on YouTube, and if you have a LinkedIn, please consider connecting with us over on LinkedIn. Today you're going to be hearing from Michael Corgett. Michael is one of our very knowledgeable AT&T focused advisors, and he's here today to give you a really great overview of how to retire from AT&T and transition out of the company with purpose. There are many factors that go into that, so keep listening for his very educated words. And before I bring Michael on, I would like to just very quickly remind you that we are not affiliated nor endorsed whatsoever by AT&T. We are a completely independent group of financial advisors, so please keep that in mind as you're listening along today. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into it now with Michael Corgett.
Welcome everyone to today's presentation. My name is Michael Corgett, Senior Advisor here at the Retirement Groups and Wealth Enhancement Group. Today's conversation is going to be interesting, retiring on purpose, with purpose, just some really good information. We'll start out with a checklist, talk about pension benefits, significant impacts that inflations can have on our retirement, and a little bit about 401ks and some of the updates that were part of the One Big Beautiful Bill, and then some thoughts on how we approach working with our clients and how we can help you in the future. So let's go ahead and dive right in. The retirement planning checklist. All of these are important. Probably the most important is how you feel. Are you comfortable? Are you emotionally ready to be considering retirement, especially if it's in the near term versus 5 or 10 years from now? Decreasing your overall risk and the volatility in your portfolio. This is very important, especially the closer that you get to retirement. Increasing and maximizing your retirement income, well, that's something certainly that any advisory firm like ours can help you with, along with decreasing taxes and penalties. They go sort of hand in hand, doing it smartly, and then bottom line, developing an investment and financial planning process and philosophy that makes sense to your specific situation, which is the most important thing to me as any advisor. It should be. Understanding the key changes we're going to talk about today, understanding your pension benefits and how is your pension determined, the impact that inflation is going to have on your retirement income and your investments, both real and not so real, talking about the 401ks, as I've talked about, and then steering clear of some of the mistakes that retirees can make in their overall retirement planning. There are 4 key sources of retirement income, okay? Social Security is something that everyone is counting on. Obviously, there are concerns about Social Security, but for this discussion, Social Security is one of the legs of that 4-legged stool we like to call a retirement planning stool. Pensions, a lot of the people that we talk to still do have pensions, but many people don't. So a pension is an important leg in the stool as well. What you do for yourself in your 401k and other investments may be the strongest and the most important leg in that stool. And then finally, real estate income, your home, any other real estate that you might own. Those are assets that can be turned into, or capital can come from those investments that can be applied towards your retirement. And a good example would be a second mortgage. So all 4 of these are important, and the impact that each one of them has on your overall retirement is significant. Understand your pension benefits. Interest rates have a significant impact on potential lump sums, and a lot of employers still do offer lump sum pension benefits. Not all, but for example, AT&T is one of those companies that still, 1, has a pension, and 2, offers a lump sum benefit on that pension, okay? If interest rates go down, pension benefits go up, and vice versa. If interest rates go up, pension benefits are going to go down, and interest rates have gotten fairly high here recently. And this table, which is what we like to call the three-tiered segmented interest rates, has gone up significantly, but it has gone down over the last couple of years. 2023 was probably the worst year. 24 got a little bit better. 25, sort of. The rates currently are still pretty high. So we do live in an environment right now that is a very high interest rate environment. So lump sums are going to be lower. Keep that teeter-totter in mind when considering taking a lump sum benefit if it is an option. You may want to take the monthly pension benefit because it might produce more guaranteed lifetime income for you and or your spouse versus taking a smaller lump sum and trying to invest it and generating a similar amount of income. The lump sum, obviously, if you do take it, combining it potentially with your savings plan and other IRA investments, you're going to want to transfer that into an individual retirement account because you want to retain the no tax on that asset. So you're going to want to roll it over, keep the tax deferred status on the pension along with your 401k and any IRAs, and then withdrawals are going to come from that IRA or IRAs, which will be taxable at some point in time. We're talking about inflation. When planning for retirement, you need to keep inflation in mind, and you need to plan for inflation, meaning you need to have investments that are going to produce at a level that is in excess of the effective rates of inflation. In other words, if inflation right now is at 3 or 4% and your investments are in money market funds earning less than that, you're not keeping pace with inflation. You're going to want to and need to balance a portfolio that includes, in my opinion, more than half your assets in equities. It can be conservative equities. It could be a combination of both conservative and growth equities, but historically, equity investments are going to produce a much higher overall rate of return than inflation, so your investments will more than keep pace with inflation over time. Fixed income investments just don't cut it any longer, okay? So you got to keep that in mind. And here's a chart of inflation rates. We have been in a higher inflationary environment the last several years. This goes back to COVID and all of the money that was pumped into the system. Back in 2022, we had inflation that peaked at 9.2%. Today, we're still at between 3 and 3.5%. Ideally, we'd like to get it lower than that. We're in a unique environment right now, and that will probably not change much because of goods and services and the employment markets and, the price of rice in China and, crops in the United States and so on and so forth. Inflation is still very sticky. And it is still above 3% and will more than likely stay there. So again, having your money invested in a balanced portfolio that includes equities is going to be a very smart thing for you to do because your investments will more than keep pace with inflation. Changes in your 401ks, talking about limits. Let's go ahead and talk about them. The limits in 401ks have increased somewhat dramatically over the years. You can see here employee contributions this year are now $24,500, and there is a catch-up contribution for anyone that is over the age of 50. So you can see you could contribute upwards of $32,500 if you're over 50. If you happen to be in this small window between 60 and 63, right now your catch-up contribution is even higher. But 64 and above, again, your catch-up contribution of $8,000 allows you to contribute more than $32,000 to your 401k. Now, there is the ability under current law to add after-tax contributions in the amount of up to $47,500. This is the maximum. We call these spillover contributions, and they are after-tax contributions. You can, again, payroll deduct this larger sum of money if you have the ability to do it, and then roll over on an annual basis that spillover contribution into a Roth IRA. Roth IRA limits are much smaller than this, so you can, if you have the ability to, take a lot more money from your paycheck, put it into your 401k after tax, and then annually roll it out into a Roth IRA and get that tax-free growth for the rest of that investment's life. There are some special tax situations that allow you to avoid the 10% penalty: medical expenses, health insurance costs, disability. You've inherited IRA, you don't have to worry about that 10% penalty if you're not 59 and a half yet. You've got the life expectancy rules, rule of 72T and the rule of 55. Both make sense and can be unique to your own situation: qualified higher education, first-time home purchase, and so on. So these are some of the exceptions to the 10% penalty on distributions from your IRA. The two that are probably to make the most sense and we talk about the most are the rule of 55. If you have money in 401k and you choose to leave your last employer and you're 55 years or an age of, older, if you choose to, you can leave a portion of all of your 401k in that 401k and make withdrawals from the 401k. You haven't rolled it over to an IRA yet. You can make withdrawals from that 401k at age 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59 and avoid the 10% penalty. That 10% penalty only applies to IRAs at a withdrawal rate age of 59 and a half. So rule of 72 is another method to where even if you're not 55, let's say you're 52 or 53, you can gain access to your IRA assets. You just have to do it a special way. So all you have to do is ask about it if that is your situation. But a lifetime table for RMDs, for most of us that were born in 1960 and beyond, RMD age is now 75. But if you were born in the late 50s, your RMD is going to be age 73. What you see here is the life expectancy factor that would apply to your IRA balance. Given if let's say your IRA is worth $1 million, you just divide it by either 26.5 if you're 73 or 24.6, and that is the amount of your RMD withdrawal. And change for, steer clear of mistakes. We like to talk about all these. Make sure you understand interest rates and the impact that it could have on your pension. Definitely want to understand your healthcare benefits because many employers don't offer retirement healthcare. Are you working with an investment team? Well, you are when you're working with our firm. What value do they bring to the table outside of investment advice, financial planning, estate planning, tax, and insurance planning? These are all benefits that we offer. Did they offer you a detailed financial analysis? We're happy to put together a plan for you, and it's complimentary. All you have to do is ask. And then also fees. I mean, that is the elephant in the room. We all in our industry have to make a living. We do charge to manage retirement assets for our clients. So you got to keep that in mind as well. We are very fair, we believe, here in the overall marketplace. You know, I've said a lot. I've said it very quickly. I just want to make sure that you understand these are just some of the bullet points that you need to consider when you're considering your retirement planning. A lot of people don't have a plan. We're happy to put together a cash flow analysis for you. Again, it's complimentary. All you have to do is reach out to us. Why you might want to consider our firm? Well, again, we're a team. We've got offices nationwide. We understand your pension and your savings plan there at AT&T, and we offer the complimentary cash flow. If you'd like to talk to us, give us a call at 1-800-900-5867. You can scan the QR code here on the left and schedule a meeting with myself or one of my colleagues. You can scan the code on the right and follow us on our LinkedIn page. We have a lot of content as well as our future webinar schedules available on our LinkedIn page, so definitely check it out. I appreciate your time. I hope this was helpful. And I did it very fast, and I certainly just reach out if you have questions. We would look forward to the opportunity of speaking with you in the future. Thank you and have a great day.